Yo, what's good, chat? We back with some motherfucking crazy diabolical shit, son. Oh my god, diabolical shit, son. Nah, it's that little catch global. You already know, but ain't got fun, no boy, man. That Suski, Dadadevsky nigga, man. One of the G's, only the G's. Shout out to the COBs, the motherfucking militia, I already said the COBs. It's a different one. I just stabbed the whole gang. Fuck is he talking about? Fuck all that though, chat. We back with that Just Thought Lounge. He wanted to be more than cousins. Hey, yo. The murder of Zion Foster. True crime documentary. More than cousins is crazy, chat. Nigga, more than cousins, nigga? Bro, cousins share like 25% of the same DNA, or 50% of the, no, is it 50? I think it's 50% of the same DNA. Cause what? That's your, like, say for instance, that's your mom, brother's child. Your mom and her brother, sure. Like if they were to combine, they would complete a person. So for y'all to combine, it's like half of the genetic. Like, wouldn't that baby be like they I don't know, bro. I don't know. That's a complicated family tree if you catch my drift, my nigga. Y'all gonna have some brother cousins, some sister cousins, some broncos, some uncles, shit like that. Let's get to it. I'm sorry.
The last message that 17-year-old Zion Foster sent before she disappeared stated that she was on her way home. The teenager told her mother and boyfriend that she was going out that night with her favorite cousin, something that she did at least twice a month. But when her mother sought him out for help finding her the next day, the cousin delivered some surprising news. That he had not seen or spoken to Zion, he said, in years. Hi there, I'm Kevin, and welcome to Just Thought Lounge. Today we're taking a look at a missing persons turned murder case. It's a story about a family and disturbing revelations.
I'm putting this at 1.5 times. This bitch 40 minutes long.
Let's take a look.
Just rock with me, Chad. Just rock with me. I know Dada Man got a low.
Mother of 6, Sierra Milton, awoke on the 5th of January 2022 to find that her eldest, Zion Foster, had not returned home the night before. Zion was a 12th grader at East Detroit High School. She had only just celebrated her 17th birthday in November. Like most teenagers, Zion had experienced a rebellious streak. She had threatened to run away from home and had even done so the year before, twice. 16 years old and frustrated with her mother's rules, she had run to her grandmother's house. Convinced to return home, she remained for only a few days before leaving again, that time causing enough concern for Sierra to call the police. But it was another false alarm. The teenager was struggling with her granny's recent cancer diagnosis, as well as her own desire for independence. That January morning was different. Zion had completed her serving shift at the Detroit Wing Company the night before. She had asked permission to leave the house after returning home from work. The teenager was honest about who she would be spending time with, her favorite cousin, Jalen. Under these conditions, Sierra agreed and watched Zion walk out the door. That was shortly before 11 p.m. The next day, the 17-year-old's boyfriend, fellow high schooler Vertez Gonzalez, messaged Sierra. Had she heard from Zion because he could no longer reach her? The last text message that he received was at 12:59 a.m. It read OMW, meaning on my way. But Zion didn't make it home. Calls to her phone went straight to voicemail. Messages sent throughout the night were not being received. Finally, at 8:53 a.m., he wrote to her, "Are you alive?" Followed by, "This is the worst thing ever." Adding to the distress over Zion's absence was the response Sierra received from her cousin, Jalen Brazier. Despite what her daughter had told her, Jalen responded that he had not been with Zion the night before. He asked Sierra exactly how often had Zion claimed that she was spending time with him. Once or twice a month, she said. He messaged her back in frustration. Zion's lies about him were sneaky as hell and not safe, he said. But why lie about spending time at his house? He suggested that she was likely spending time with someone who lived near to him. Zion shared location tracking on her phone with boyfriend Vertez. This tracking had placed her just across the street from Jalen's home at 11:24 p.m. the night before. Vertez, admittedly a bit insecure in their relationship, had taken a screenshot of his girlfriend's location at exactly that time. Jalen suggested that perhaps Zion was using him as a cover story when she was in fact at a neighbor's house. She must know someone else on the street or nearby. Jalen helpfully suggested that Sierra go to the police, but he requested to be kept out of it. Vertez was not as easily persuaded. He inundated Jalen with messages. He confronted the 23-year-old with a screenshot from his phone. In response, Jalen sent back a video of his Ring camera system. There were no entries showing Zion at the house, he said. She was never there. East Point police were not inclined to take Sierra's missing persons report with any sense of urgency. Her daughter had a history of being a runaway. According to the distressed mother, officers at the station did not mince words.
The person that's over it now specifically said to us that, I'm going to be honest with you, we're taking this as she's a runaway.
Receiving little support from law enforcement, she took matters into her own hands. With the assistance of family and friends, a search effort for Zion was launched in the following days. They posted flyers, held rallies, and spoke.
As it should be, W family, real niggas, real niggas, real niggas. I ain't gonna lie, I could never just like lose one of my family members or like one of my family members run away and I'm just gonna be cool with that shit, bro. Like, nah, bro. Your ass gonna contact me. Fuck. I care about if you alive. Like, I don't know. Yo, cuz in this situation, like, he really, your cousin, bro.
To the media.
We need your eyes. The police need your help.
That's right.
We need your help.
In the meantime, officers were eventually sent out to speak with Jalen Brazier. Jalen, Zion's self-professed favorite cousin, was in fact first cousins with her former stepfather. That is, he was cousins with Sierra's ex-husband. At 23, he was a father to 2 young children, and he had a long-term partner, Katrina. Sierra believed that her daughter and Jalen had always been and remained close. According to Jalen, they hadn't spoken in years. They found him at home with girlfriend Katrina Smith.
How you doing? What's up, Mr. Brazier? Yes, sir. What's your name, ma'am? Okay. You guys know Zion? Yes. So, they were saying...
Jalen invited the officers in to look around the house. He told them that he had last seen his cousin nearly a year before, in May 2021. Jalen continued to explain that it was Zion's mother and her boyfriend that seemed fixated on the idea that she had been with him that night. He had offered to show his Ring camera footage to Sierra as well. When she took a look at it, the mother thought that there were gaps in entries for footage for the night of January 4th, which had obviously been deleted.
Never here, but her location did say she was here. And I was across the street. I was like, she was never here. I don't know. But anyway, I got cameras to show her that she was never here.
East Point police found nothing suspicious in the search of the house. There were no indications that Zion had been there. They listened while Jalen explained his frustrations over being pulled into the drama caused by his 17-year-old cousin, with whom he rarely spends any time.
The times when I left, so I took her to work and came back with you guys. Just basically showing this girl was never in my house. So we believe and she's known to be a runaway. She's like 4 times. Every time she got some dude's house. Her mom knows this. Her mom's just playing it a certain way and it's making me so fucking uncomfortable.
She's known to be a runaway?
Yes, I would assume you guys would know that. Not saying you're not their job, just assume she would tell you the damn information.
No, we know. Appreciate it. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Jalen may have been fooling the East Point police at this stage, but not Sierra Milton. She did indeed watch to see who her daughter left with from the house, and she often greeted Jalen herself in the drive when he came by to collect her. She knew he was lying.
He told me he hadn't seen or been in contact with her for 3 years, which is impossible when you were in my driveway and gave me a hug.
Perhaps the easiest way to verify if Zion had been across the street from her cousin's house, as her location data suggested, was to check the name.
Alright, now chat. I know, breaking information. They step cousins. Regardless, still fucking weird. Well, ex-step cousins, even then, still fucking weird because she's 6 years younger than you, buddy. She's 6 years younger than you, bro. You're first of all, not only are you incestuous, bro, you're an incestuous pedophile. It's different. Oh my
neighbors'
God.
Doorbell cameras. At about 11:15 p.m. on January 4th, a white sedan, the car known to be driven by Jalen Brazier, was captured pulling into his drive. Emerging from the vehicle were 2 individuals, clearly seen walking into the house, 1 male and 1 female. Jalen had driven Katrina to work at just before 11 p.m. that night. She was on the midnight shift at a manufacturing job. The shift spanned from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. The second individual who entered the house at 11:15 could not have been Katrina. Phone location data would later confirm the 2 individuals captured entering the home, Jalen Brazier and Zion Foster. The camera did not show Zion leaving. At 1:41 a.m., the same camera from across the street captured Jalen pulling his car out of the drive and then backing it in. The trunk then faced the backyard. After a few minutes, the car drove off. It returned to the house less than 10 minutes later. Search warrants were obtained for the house and the car. Inside the house, the search was fruitless. The contents of the car were carefully itemized and examined, but there was no clear evidence indicating what had happened to Zion. That is, until law enforcement brought in the cadaver dogs. The dogs clearly indicated at the trunk of Jalen's car. On January 19th, the 23-year-old, accompanied by a friend who was a lawyer, voluntarily sat down with detectives. It was clear that he had lied about being with Zion on the night that she disappeared. Jalen came forward to offer what he claimed was a truthful version of events from that night. He had picked up Zion from her home and brought her back to his place. He put his 2 children, boys aged 1 and 2 years old, to bed, then joined Zion downstairs in the living room.
You guys mix up your weeds, you roll up, you guys start smoking, you're just watching TV, just chilling? Yeah, she's telling me about her mom, their relationship's a lot better than the last time she talked to us. And about her boyfriend, the job and everything, and how she's working on getting an apartment and everything.
Jalen said they smoked some marijuana, which appeared to make Zion very sleepy. He saw her head tilt back, as though she intended to take a nap while sitting upright on the couch. At that point, he went into the other room to pour himself a drink.
Now, you guys are just chilling, and that's all of a sudden she just blanks out like that? When I got up to go give me something to drink, yeah, I came back, and she was saying she was tired, and she laid her head back, so I let you go to sleep for a bit with her. Okay. And then about 15 to 20 minutes after that, I was like, okay, are you good? You ready to go home? And she wasn't responding or any of that. Was her plan to go back home?
Jalen reported that Zion's pulse was faint. Then he described her heartbeat as non-existent. His young cousin had simply died on his couch, he said. Instead of contacting 911, he panicked. Not knowing how she died, he thought it would appear as though he had killed her.
Her heartbeat was getting very, very faint, and her breathing was like non-existent. I smoked. Oh yeah, it was weed, normal marijuana. So I freaked out. I'm like, okay, well, this looks terrible. This looks very bad. I didn't know what to do. So I took her, I put her into my trunk, and I put her in my trunk. Okay. And I took her to Highland Park. And
now, already, right? Putting her in the trunk because she passed out. Now, chat, I'm not no motherfucking genius. Nigga, I ain't no nurse. I ain't go to medical school. I ain't get my medical degree. But what the fuck he mean? First of all, weed don't never make your heartbeat slow down. It make your heartbeat get faster, and then make everything around you feel slower. You dig what I'm saying? Until you get to that point where you really smoke a lot. The only time that a motherfucker heartbeat is gonna feel non-existent is if they've been murdered. If they pulse feel faint, even then, if it's faint, you call the paramedics. Nigga. Like, what? This nigga's story is dumb. It's dumb as shit. What are we talking about? Nigga said she wasn't breathing. So I put her in my trunk, and then I took her to a park and put her in the trash can and left. Brother. Oh, brother. Jesus Christ.
I tried to go to the trash can, and I left.
Detectives queried how Jalen knew that Zion was dead. According to his story, the 17-year-old had inexplicably, very abruptly, stopped breathing.
And nobody very abruptly dies like that, and there's not some type of reaction from their body. They don't just lean back and die. That's some shit that'll happen if they were smoking fent. They were smoking that fentanyl, maybe. Or heroin. Or methamphetamine, some shit like that. Or that motherfucking pink, what that shit was called? Pink cocaine, that shit like that. All that shit. That's the type shit. Synthetic drugs is the shit that'll make you and you gone out of there. Weed ain't gonna do that to you, fucks. Weed ain't gonna never do that to you, fucks. There's no way it did that to her and it didn't do that to you. Or you ain't have no type reaction. You feel me? Cause a lot of people don't know this. You can overdose and be like, I ain't gonna say functioning, but like semi-functioning. You can like having a conscious overdose. A lot of the time when people panic and they green out and shit like that, that's like they, you feel me? Like shit like that. I'm speaking if you're like consistent on doing this shit too. But like, it's no way, my nigga. It's no way. She wasn't breathing, and I just put her in the trunk. And I just left her in the trash can and left on some shit. Like, what, my nigga? off some weed, though. Weed don't even make you pass out unless it's lace, bro.
Head's back on the couch. She's still lying
make you sleep. It ain't gonna make you pass out.
And then you start shaking her. She doesn't wake up. You check her pulse, you said, and you see she's not breathing, nothing like that. So at that point, what are you doing?
Freaking out.
Okay, so you're freaking out. And this whole time you've been,
At that point, we thought she was definitely dead. Yeah. Okay.
Well, was she dead? Do you think she's dead at that point, or does she still just have pain breathing? And
If there wasn't anything.
there was nothing at that point.
Hold on, chat. I'm gonna take a page out of Flight Book. Nigga, the technology too good, nigga. Niggas don't understand, right? It's ways to tell. Because of the way that the human body decomposes, it's ways to tell at what point in time a person died or at what point in, like, you feel me? So if the police ever do find that body, which if he put her in a trash can, if they ain't find that trash can, they probably never would have. I don't know what time frame this really happening in, but nigga, they can see when she died, my nigga. They can see when her body stopped giving responses. Yeah, on some shit. And if you touched her before she died, you did anything to her, and your DNA is on her, you're done for. You already lied about being there. It's like, nigga just digging himself in a deeper hole, bro.
Yeah, there's a lot, right?
Don't do no shit you can't handle.
She wasn't breathing, so I assumed that her heartbeat was like, I couldn't read heartbeat, couldn't feel heartbeat or anything. So I would say she was dead, definitely.
Okay.
I want to have you show us the dumpster,
Okay.
because I don't want to mistake it, and I want to obviously get out there and see if she's still there, then we need to recover her, and if not, then we need to do the steps to locate where she's at. Okay? You're okay with that?
Absolutely.
All right.
Jalen led detectives to the dumpsters in Highland Park, where he claimed to have left Zion's body weeks before. Jalen told detectives that Zion had been at his home for roughly 2 hours before she died. This would have placed her time of death at just past 1 a.m. Cell phone records showed her device drop off the network at 1:15.
Y'all see what I'm saying? Her time of death. Hold on.
Weeks before. Jalen told detectives that Zion had been at his home for roughly 2 hours before she died. This would have placed her time of death at just past 1 a.m. Cell phone records showed her device drop off the network at 1:15 a.m., corresponding to the time that she stopped responding to messages from Bertez. Jalen told detectives that he had not deleted any data from his device since the night of Zion's death. They found, however, that he had conducted a full factory reset of his phone just 2 days later, effectively wiping everything held on his device. Nonetheless, the movements of his phone could be pieced together. This data placed Jalen at the dumpsters at Highland Park at 1:48 a.m. He claimed to have placed her in the dumpster to the...
Mind y'all, chat. Phones are literally tracking devices. Word of advice. Actually, I'm not even going to give y'all that advice. I'm not going to put myself in that situation. They're tracking devices, bro. They're tracking devices, my nigga. Same thing with AirPod. Anything, any product that's electronic has a tracking chip, because we're not gonna get into all them. We're not gonna get into all them semantics. But it hit different when, you feel me, they're literally made to know where you are and to access your data regardless of what you want.
The right. There was no longer any sign of her there.
Surveillance.
It's already open. Yes. 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 Right in front of it. I said right in front of it.
Did you back into it or did you pull forward? So you were side by side? Okay.
He said that my baby just died, and then that he threw her in a dumpster like she was trash.
When Jalen sat down for a follow-up interview the next day, January 20th, inconsistencies began to emerge in his story. He now claimed that the two had taken acid that night. It was her response to the psychedelics that must have caused her heart to stop. Of course, this explanation was about as likely as his previous...
And now, chat, my job, every drug that's in a person's body, they can track as well. Do y'all homework on what blood work is, bro. They can see everything that's in your system. It's different when, nigga, the technology is way too far now, bro. Even if she ain't got no blood left in her, bro, it's residual like, any drug that you take has residual properties. It sticks to your body. It stays in your body. That's why if you drink liquor like a what? How long it take for your for that shit to get out your piss? Like 3-4 weeks, unless you do some shit to temporarily get it out. It is ways that you can temporarily get it out, but that shit take time. That shit take time and effort. So that should be in your system for up to 3-4 weeks. Like, that should be in your system for a little minute, my nigga. You feel me? Why you think every time you want to get that good job, nigga, they be like, you got to piss in this cup. You got to piss in this cup. We want to see if you doing them drugs.
Previous assertion that the marijuana had caused her death.
You think the cops can't do
the detective attempted to leverage these new claims to compel a confession. Perhaps Jalen would use the...
Nigga, you think the $1 billion hospital facility in the heart of the city where they treat gunshot wounds and fucking do surgeries all day and got cancer patients and all this other shit all in there, feel me, sick infants, all this shit that they dealing with, you think they can't find some shit like acid in a motherfucker body, you know what I'm saying? Like all this advanced technological shit. They can see your heart rate. They can see how your lungs function, how your liver function, how your kidneys doing, all that shit. And you think they can't? Like, come on, bro. Niggas be like...
the drugs as an excuse for his actions, for whatever steps he took to kill his younger cousin.
I've been trying psychedelics and acid, and
why would you get a 17?
I think that's what killed her.
Okay. But, Nick, why would you, first of all, why would you give your 17-year-old cousin that's in your care, that ran away from home, acid, first off? Like,
did you have like a freaking momentary, like, didn't know what you were doing moment?
No. She also she's gonna tell herself.
Let me ask you this. The problem with those drugs are, when you're on them, you don't know what you're doing. I mean, that's the reason people take them, right? Did you do something when you were, because again, I'm trying to figure this out, and that would make complete sense. When you dropped acid, did you have, I'm not saying it's okay, but...
I was completely comforted. Completely. I just think, I don't know if the effect for her was positive or... Because I know it does a lot of things to your brain.
Yeah, it does a lot. I'm going to tell you right now, it makes sense to me now. It all makes sense to me. You understand that, right? Because I'm sitting here trying to figure out how this nice young guy, Jay, could ever hurt anybody. But it makes sense to me now. It's not you. It's not Jay that.
Nigga, acid make you trip out. Acid don't make you kill nobody, nigga. What's crazy about a lot of drugs is they turn up your natural instincts and like your natural intentions and like what you want to do and how you feel, how you go about the world, how you how you perceive things and how you perceive yourself and like your innate actions that you don't or usually wouldn't even do a lot of the time. So for you to say that you getting on acid even possibly made you hurt your cousin, nigga, you was thinking about that beforehand. Like, that's something that's premeditated. Acid make you like, it make you trip, but it's not gonna make you just randomly, yo, I need to kill my cousin. Like, that's not a normal response to that shit, regardless.
You understand that, right? If you did something under the influence, that I need to know that because
the detective manipulating the shit out of this nigga.
I can appreciate.
Hey, he running his MWG, nigga. Manipulate, gaslighting, gatekeep.
The detective failed to elicit a confession. Without this admission and without locating Zion, there was not enough evidence to proceed with an indictment for murder. Jalen was placed under arrest and held in custody for one count of lying to police.
He made the police actively deceiving them on the whereabouts of Zion Foster, the health and safety of Zion Foster, in his interaction with her.
In June of that year, Jalen spoke with detectives again. This time, only the audio was recorded. At that time, he changed his story once more. Jalen recanted his claim that the two had taken acid that night. That part was not true. Other smaller details of the story changed as well. He no longer described Zion as passed out on the couch. Now, she was on the floor. He said that he had felt pressured by police to offer more information, so he made up a more elaborate story to appease them.
on that out about the LSD, but yeah, we both took a hit of LSD, and it must have hit her different, hit her wrong. Did you say it? Bullshit? Oh, yeah. Or did he? I'm saying he's telling me that. I'm trying to. Is he telling me bullshit? They didn't say it, or did you tell me that?
Okay, I don't pressure. You just throw something out there before I get out.
Garbage collection trucks working Highland Park were tracked to specified areas in local landfills. The task of sorting through mounds of trash from all over the Detroit area and compiled over several weeks was a daunting undertaking. An estimated 8-week project was launched. Dozens of volunteers, mostly wearing masks and hazmat suits and assisted by heavy machinery, picked through layer after layer of the landfill systematically, looking for any sign of Zion.
We expect phase 1 to take approximately 2 weeks, but we're doing what's right for the right reasons, and we're going to do everything we possibly can to bring some degree of closure. We'll never be complete closure, but some degree of closure and justice to this family.
Meanwhile, Jalen Brazier faced up to 4 years in prison for the lies he had told police. The Detroit Police Department, the DPD, assisted by the FBI, continued to seek a warrant for murder. Jalen pled his case to the judge at his sentencing.
One, I did turn myself in. Yes, I lied, but I was not in the right state of mind. There was no way for me to prepare for a situation like that. I was scared. I don't know exactly how she passed, what caused her to pass. I just know 1 minute she was cool, she was fine. She laid back for a minute. Next thing I know, she was dead. I don't know what caused it. I did not cause it or anything like that. I reacted stupidly off of fear and panic like I've never felt before in my life. Literally.
You think she dies and then you dispose of the body? Just like that? That was your choice?
Did not know what to do. I sat for at least 10 minutes sitting there. Like, what do I do? Who do I call? My kids are upstairs. We just got into this place after struggling for like 2 years to get it, and everything is falling down.
I won't have any conversation in this book.
And I wish I could take it back. I would have called the ambulance, called her mom, because her mom's so sweet. Her mom is so sweet. And I just know. I wish I could take it back. Nobody been in a situation. At the very least, they'd be like, okay, this happened, confirm this. And everybody has some sort of peace right now. You know? But
Jalen Brazier was sentenced to 23 months in prison. Jalen's phone calls home to girlfriend Katrina and other family members were monitored closely while he was in custody. Occasionally, he would use another inmate's calling code to make his phone calls, in a failed attempt to keep his conversations private. He was also in possession of a prohibited cell phone, which he used to exchange thousands of messages with Katrina. Repeatedly in his calls, Jalen would ask if anything major happened. This seemed to be a poorly concealed attempt to ask whether the massive search of the landfill had located anything, or anyone.
There, the most logical and possible one, right, is that there's nothing major or new, and due to that, there's a last effort to put together 85 to anything, and that's basically the most logical thing that I came up to with. So,
I just want you to know, keep your head up. Don't say nothing. You can
of course. Baby, stop talking.
I know. I'm
I know what you speak on certain things.
Jalen's concerns over the search for Zion were telling. If his story was truthful and she had died abruptly from an unknown and nonviolent cause, then there would be every reason for him to want her found. Finding Zion would exonerate him. The quicker, the better. Wishing her to be found should also be the sentiment of a loving cousin. Curiously, over and over again, he
literally, in no situation if you're innocent, and this just comes from like understanding the world around you, my nigga, like literally just not being dumb. If somebody died and you don't call somebody, you instantly become one of the top prime possible motherfuckers that's a suspect. Cause it's like, how does somebody that you care about, or it don't even gotta be somebody that you cared about. It could be somebody that you never met before, completely random, and you see them struggling in any type of way again, and you know, like, you're normal. Your first instinct is, yo, what the fuck? It is, yo, what the fuck? I don't know how to deal with this. But it's not, yo, what the fuck? I don't know how to deal with this. Let me hide this body that I had nothing to do with murdering. That 9 out of 10, they're gonna know I had nothing to do with doing it. Like, if she wasn't murdered, there's no reason to dispose of the body in the first place. What are you getting rid of her body for? And you didn't do anything to her. Even if you didn't call nobody. It's been situations where motherfuckers just like let bodies like rot in their houses and shit, and they still weren't charged with a murder or manslaughter or none of that. Because they had nothing to do with it. But the fact that you had felt the need in that moment to, you feel me? It just let motherfuckers know, like, yeah, you're not cognitively right. Because there's no way my first thought is, damn, my cousin just died. Let me throw this nigga in the trash. Like, it's just...
He expressed his relief that no major developments had occurred in the search. As the final days of the landfill project drew near, he referred to it as a search for COVID.
Yeah, just relax. Today's the first, tomorrow's the second. That's what, to stop the COVID thing here. Yeah, I'm searching for COVID essentially. So, you know, and usually there's usually a fix for that. So, but actually, nothing. Don't worry about nothing.
Jalen served just over 9 months before being granted early release. He had been placed in a special 90-day incarceration program. This boot camp is designed like a military program in which inmates convicted of certain crimes can better themselves while inside, and in turn, they are rewarded with early release. It had been nearly a year, and Zion had not been found. An indictment for murder had not been sought, and now the prime suspect returned to his home and his family.
Why is this man free? What? I can admit to this and still be let free.
Jalen Brazier's freedom was short-lived. On the 13th of June, 2023, after a year-and-a-half investigation, the DPD were finally granted a warrant for arrest.
Take you real quick off everybody. Your identity, your license and all that? Yeah, I got your license, man, you know? Yeah, I got my...
The 24-year-old would face charges of second-degree murder, as well as tampering with evidence. Upon his arrest for Zion's murder, 2 additional cell phones were taken. Despite the factory reset that he performed on his device, investigators were able to retrieve some of the activity. His search history had been held in cloud storage. On January 7th, 3 days after dumping his cousin's body in a dumpster, Jalen performed a handful of Google searches. Are garbage trucks also compactors? What is the force of a garbage truck compactor? How do police get your phone history? And how do you know if police are watching you? In addition to these incriminating searches, investigators found that in the months before the incident, Jalen had performed a number of disturbingly...
And Chad, this is something I want y'all to know too. When you use incognito and shit like that on your phone, bro, you're not incognito, my nigga. They can see everything you're doing. So keep it degooning, bro. Keep it degooning and regular shit like that. Don't be on no, I just killed somebody. Let me search this shit up on incognito mode. I don't know, chat. I don't know. I personally don't do that shit. But shit, like, what the fuck? Nigga just decided, like, even if he was, in a sense, trying to take a precaution, it's like, nigga, that's just not how it works. Like, I don't think niggas understand that cell towers are literally data receivers. Chat, I'm sorry for that little noise. That's my grinder. But they literally data receivers, bro. Everything you send from your phone, nigga, they see that. Every text you send, every picture you take. Well, I ain't gonna say every picture you take, but you know, every text you send, every call you make, all that. Even if you know the little way to check your phone, I ain't gonna lie, it is a way to check your phone, see if it's bugged by the cops, but I ain't gonna put y'all into that neither. Niggas don't need to know all that. But yeah, it's literally like a big ass, it's literally called a reception tower. Nigga, you thought they was just receiving cell signals? Bro, your phone need a cell signal to do damn near anything. Why do you think that is, bro? You're connected. It's called the internet. All this other shit. And you thinking, oh, nah, shit sweet. Shit sweet. They none the wiser. Nigga, technology too far ahead, nigga. Technology too far ahead, nigga. We
suggestive searches for pornographic content containing the words cousin and step-cousin. Experts were able to retrieve the video results of these searches, some of which were reportedly very violent, as well as graphic in nature. As the case approached trial, a preliminary hearing offered more insight into the additional evidence that had emerged since Jalen's release. This hearing also may have offered Jalen's defense team a new theory. At the hearing, Vertez Gonzalez testified that he believed his girlfriend was taking regular medication for epilepsy. He told the court that Zion told him that she had seizures and that without her medication, they became more frequent and severe. In one instance, Vertez saw Zion become momentarily faint, slouching forward before regaining her composure after just a few seconds. This episode, he believed, could have been a seizure.
Have you ever seen her have a seizure?
I think so. Yes, I think so.
And while she was having a seizure, explain to me what happened.
Just like a little pass out. Like that's it. Like quick little seizure. Like
she was passed out. Was she foaming at the mouth or
no?
Okay, she was shaking uncontrollably.
No.
Okay, so she just passed out.
Yeah, just for a quick second. She like you get straight.
Sierra Milton, whose youngest child was in fact diagnosed with such a condition, testified that this was not the case. Zion had never suffered a seizure. Hundreds of pages of medical records covering years of treatment appeared to support Sierra's assertion. Nonetheless, Jalen Brazier's version of events was now being presented in a new light. Perhaps Zion's condition led to her death suddenly in his living room. Maybe she had a seizure.
Now, there are only two people who can say exactly what happened inside of the house that night. One of them is Zion, and she is gone. The other is the defendant, and you will hear that nearly every time he spoke about what happened, his story changed. And although he got rid of Zion's body, you will see that he left behind a trail of digital evidence that is damning and will show you that the circumstances all lead to one and only one explanation for why Zion left his house in the trunk of his car that night, and that's because he murdered her.
She also had a history of seizures and taking seizure medication. Now, on this particular day, she came over to Jalen's house. They were smoking. Jalen told the police after some time that she had shallow breathing and a faint heartbeat. He checked her to see if she was alive, and she was dead. He then feared, because he was doing drugs, which is still federally illegal, that he could be blamed for something, and he panicked.
Zion's phone disconnected from the network at 1:15 a.m. the same night that she disappeared, and was then lost with her. But the team...
If you care about your cousin, nigga, you know what you could do. Because first of all, you don't really have to disclose if you are under the influence, but if you care about your cousin, right? Here's the thing. If me and my cousin was ever doing drugs or something, right? Big cuz pass out or little cuz pass out, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just so out of the loop that I decide, yo, like my cousin passed out, I'm gonna treat this nigga like a victim. Chat, look at how I get in, bro. Hold on, while I'm talking though, but look, nah, respectfully though, it gets to a point, cause it's like. You. My fault, chat. Oh, so the fuck out that bit. Alright. Let me get right over here. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, chat. I just locked in on the rules so hard. Look at how that bitch coming together, though, Scud. But yeah, like I was saying, though, if you care about your cousin, my nigga, in any capacity, you're calling the only people that are, you know, capable and literally paid to save lives. You're calling paramedics or firefighters, even if you're not calling the cops. I respect not calling the cops because a lot of times cops make situations like that worse, especially if you are black or you are a minority. Cops don't really respond to us that well. But also, there are alternatives. Also, if you call 311, aka 911 for non-violent crimes, mind you, which niggas want to get on Google. Niggas ain't want to search no, you feel me? Like, even in a situation like that, you're searching who should I call if my cousin, like, you know, who should I call? What should I do if my cousin just randomly pass out? What should I do if, you know, like, y'all get what I'm saying, bro? You not searching. How much force does a garbage compactor have?
Teenager's
like,
previous cell phone was safe at home. Sierra Milton handed this device over to police. On it, they found months of correspondence between her and her favorite cousin. The messages he sent ranged from subtle and unsettling to deeply inappropriate. At times, the messages were sexually explicit. Over 4,000 distinct texts were retrieved from Zion's old device. In them, Jalen routinely invited her over to his home while his girlfriend was away. He offered to put her up in his basement if she ran away from home. He also advised her on how she might evade police if she ran away once more. Wayne County Assistant Prosecutor Ryan Elsey described the texts as pervasive, at times complimentary of her intelligence and looks, at other times probing in an immature way. For example, he suggested to her that other people thought that they were a couple. He said Katrina, the mother of his children, was jealous of her. Isn't that crazy? Did that make sense to her? He then bragged to Zion about how easily he could get with women. At one point, he called himself a god. Prosecutor Elsey concluded by telling the jury that the 23-year-old had been grooming his younger cousin for years, that he fantasized about her, and that on January 4th, he must have acted on his impulses. This was the twisted motive that led to her death. Jurors heard about how Jalen learned that Katrina was pregnant with their third child on the day that he brought Zion to his house. Messages between the couple showed how he had lied to her about what he was doing after he dropped her off at work. Earlier that day, her nausea and hot spells had led to a trip to the emergency room. Hours later, the nausea resumed. She messaged repeatedly that she felt too ill to remain at work and asked him to pick her up. At 1:25 a.m., she wrote, "I think I need to come home." At 1:26, "I don't feel good." A few minutes later, "My stomach hurts. I feel sick and keep getting hot and cold." Jalen's response was simply, "You can make it, baby." He did finally pick her up that night at nearly 3 a.m. When he did so, she noticed a deep scratch across his collarbone. He told her that the cat had scratched him deep enough to draw blood. Odd, Katrina thought. The cat had never scratched that deep before. The trial lasted 2 full weeks in May 2024. Jalen chose not to testify. The state called 32 witnesses. The defense did not call any. The case against Jalen was largely circumstantial, though it was nonetheless compelling. A forensic anthropologist who reviewed Zion's medical history determined that the only condition that she suffered that could possibly have led to her death was asthma, though an asthma attack would present as the exact opposite of what her cousin described. Instead of quietly passing out and experiencing a faint heartbeat, Zion would have been struggling to breathe. It would have been very clear that she was in distress. Vertez repeated his testimony that Zion had told him that she suffered from seizures. He also admitted that his girlfriend was known to fib quite a bit. It seems that Zion had liked to tell stories.
When he brought her to his house late at night on January 4th of 2022, behind the back of his pregnant girlfriend, who was at work at the time, he brought Zion over to his house late that night, and she leaves that house in the trunk of his car on a night where he has an unexplained gash on his collarbone. What do you think happened inside that house that night? She died of COVID? She died of a seizure? There's a claim that he did all this. He did what he did because he was afraid of getting caught for marijuana, afraid of getting busted for pot. You can use your common sense. If you go to a marijuana dispensary, there's not going to be a team of ATF agents waiting to bust you and take you to federal prison for that. It's about the equivalent of a parking ticket. You ever heard of somebody getting rid of a body to avoid a parking ticket?
Vertez himself said Zion told him specifically she had a history of seizures. The question was asked, were you concerned when you saw this? No, I was not concerned because I knew of a history of seizures she told me about and that she was on medication for it. And his understanding is that if she did not take the medication, the seizures would be that much worse.
Sierra Milton and the rest of Zion's family waited as the jury went into deliberations.
The thing. Why are they talking about seizures, right? If she just laid back her head and she was just there, no heartbeat, no pulse, no none of that, my nigga, I've seen seizures in real life. I know people personally that have seizures a lot. Nigga, they shake. They literally shake uncontrollably a lot of the time, bro. Like, it's damn near violent. It's like they get strong. It's like they get stronger, low key. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that shit crazy. But it's like she's not gonna just be there. Like, if she had an epileptic seizure or any kind of seizure for that matter. Like, this nigga whole story was just idiotic. And the fact that any of them police officers believed him, regardless of when this happened, is so crazy to me. Niggas
just so many inconsistencies that, again, hopefully, the end point of this is that they will see those inconsistencies, see through the lies, and see the truth.
Bro.
That he murdered my daughter.
I feel so bad for the mom and the siblings, and like, I don't know if the dad was there, but the dad too. Like, you feel me? The whole family, bro. Like, feel bad. It's crazy. Just murdered that girl,
and he disposed of her with absolute disregard for her life.
The jury returned in only 30 minutes.
Answer count 1, how do you find?
Guilty.
Answer count 2, how do you find?
Guilty.
Ladies and gentlemen, please raise your right hand.
Jalen Brazier maintained his innocence of the murder at his sentencing hearing.
I know that the picture's already painted, of course, and so she gets it. Having it right, it is what it is. But Zion was not in any way violent. That wasn't hurt at all. I said that I never wanted to apologize. I never tried to apologize. That's not true. What I said is I know that my apologies were nothing because you can't change her. But that's what I did.
Before announcing his decision on the length of term that Jalen would serve, Judge Donald Knapp outlined the convict's failure to accept any responsibility for the murder, for his disposal of Zion's body, for lying to police, and for causing so many delays in the investigation through his lies. The father had left his 2 young children alone in the house. He manipulated and lied to family, and ultimately, he acted alone. It was unlikely, according to Judge Knapp, that he would ever be rehabilitated. Jalen Brazier was sentenced to 30 to 90 years in prison for the murder and another 5 to 10 years for tampering with evidence. These terms are to be served consecutively.
My body was trembling, but man, when it was red, and it was just so matter of fact, I'm so happy they saw. She was loved, she is loved, she was fought for, and this is the result. So I'm happy that in the end, this is justice.
And for Jalen, you thought you were smart, you tried to be slick, the people saw you for what you are. You ain't, and I hope you never get out.
Zion Foster's body has never been recovered. Over 70 volunteers and law enforcement searched the land.
Man, he better than me. I would have tweaked out on national television, nigga. You's a bitch! Niggas killed my baby, bro. Like, it's crazy, because you literally, when you have a child, bro, you watch that little baby, that little nut that you dropped off, turn into a whole human, fuck. So, you feel me? Saying that and then losing that gotta be one of the worst pains ever. Like, a lot of people go through losing older family members. Bro, imagine being, you feel me, somebody parent and just one moment loving your child, doing everything you can, and that shit just get ripped away from you, bro. That shit just get ripped away from you, bro. It's a hard pain to deal with, chat. I ain't gonna lie. Like,
for nearly 6 months before finally admitting defeat. As of the publication of this video, Jalen remains at an intake facility in Wayne County, awaiting his placement in a general population prison.
Man, send that boy to big boy prison. They gonna know exactly what to do with his ass. Anywho, chat, that was that he wanted to be more than cousins. The murder of Zion Foster. Shit. Shout out Just Thoughty Lounge. Them Just Thought Lounge or whatever the fuck. Not whatever the fuck. That's exactly what it is. Shout out to them guys though. With that being said though, chat, without further ado, we've been that little catch. Man, many names on the GGs on the G side. With that being said, without further ado, I'm gonna see you on the next one. So without further ado, we gonna R.I.P. to Zion again. Stay blessed, stay prayed up, and stay hydrated. With that being said though, chat, we ready to get the fuck up out of here. Y'all know the protocol. Damn, chat, we had some sad videos this week. I'm sorry.